changed. So the Brely today, like there's a new trajectory for me that's happening right now, live and in person. Y'all take a picture because this is what I look like single, but it ain't gonna be for long. So get your cell phones out.
Talk about it.
Because like a different energy is showing up, but I know it's because I've changed. Yeah.
So you know that.
I'm 100%.
Okay, so when we look back, you were married before, right?
I said yes to someone. I had said yes to someone.
Brandon, so you don't call that being married?
Well,
I never imagined my public healing would inspire others to heal across the world.
I thank you for using him to reach the world with a message of hope in relationships.
but your life does not.
God, you are my publicist. We laugh. We share the unadulterated truth.
He said, not only have I not divorced you, I ain't exposed you.
Oh!
We didn't marry fans, we married forever. And we wanted forever to act like a fan.
Reveal her, Jesus.
I will not compromise on getting a woman of God.
You don't have to.
And Father, I declare for his future wifey, thank you for preserving her.
This season, I declare miracles and
See,
manifestations.
you selling scripts.
And you're unique. You ain't like nobody else. I noticed that right away. You being true to who you are, you're going to attract. It's a Hebrew word, hayil, and it was translated wealth, and it means people, it means men, it means resources, and it means means.
I'm Lateris R. Whitfield, and this is the Dear Future Wifey Podcast.
Welcome to the Dear Future Wifey Podcast. I'm your host, Lateris R. Whitfield. Listen, are you still shacking up with us? If you're still shacking up with us, come on, can we get a commitment? Hit that subscription button and subscribe. Make sure you turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified about upcoming episodes. Listen, season 6, oh man, we've been rocking. God has affectionately named this season Miracles and Manifestations, and God has been doing exactly that. And so, I've been fasting, I've been praying to get this guest on the podcast. She's been running. She's a runner, she's a track star. So that's just what it is. And so after about a year and a half, 2 years. So 2 years of tracking her down, she finally, it was times where she was supposed to do the episode that day while she was in town and just, something happened and she couldn't do it.
And then I was going to come and then the weather.
Wait till I introduce you.
You know what? Okay. When kings speak, queens listen.
So without further ado, welcome to the Dear Future Wifey Podcast. My homie, Brely Evans. What's up? Yeah, I want to give you an official introduction.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. But we ain't official. We go way back.
But we got to talk about. So, Brely, why have you been avoiding doing this episode?
I wasn't avoiding it.
You was avoiding it.
God said no.
No, well, why didn't you tell me no then?
Well, because you have my yes.
But God had your no?
But God has a timing for a thing. You can't mess with his timing. His timing is, I don't know, I don't create the time. He says the time. Like the weather wouldn't let me. Come on now.
That was last month, but I'm talking about 6 months ago.
The timing, again.
You were right here in Dallas.
We
were supposed to record that Saturday night.
You know what had to happen? You had to come get me.
Explain to the people what you mean by I had to come get you.
Well, I said, if you want me to come on this podcast, you need to fly to LA or Atlanta, wherever I am, get on the plane with me and come. And did you do that this morning?
By default. What happened was you had me come do your When Kings Speak event, and then I stayed there to do some other people's podcasts or whatnot.
And then what'd you do this morning? Back to what I just said.
We flew from Atlanta to Dallas.
You came and got me.
On the same plane.
There you go. You came and got me, and now I'm here.
She talking about you gonna have to come get me and be a gentleman. I said, who gonna come fly? And I said, I'm not gonna go fly and come get you. And then you was
Y'all
like,
need to
now look
change
what happened.
the standard. Come on.
What's that? So
what is your standard?
So it's a standard. So on a platonic level,
if that's what I needed, then you should say, you know what, sis, I got you. If it's gonna be, you know what I'm saying? If
and
it's
fly
that,
to another city to bring
just like you did. Mm-hmm. You see how Jesus just made that thing happen? You got to be careful around me because what I say, this is the miracles and manifestations.
Yeah.
I'm a miracle and a manifestation sitting right on this guy. Although I'm a little nerd. Okay, I'm good.
You got your
I
wig
just want
tight?
to make sure my wig tight. Homeboy back there, I done seen. I was, this yellow couch. I had to come get on my knees, y'all. If you come here, pray.
You gotta
on
pray
the
before.
knee.
Pray before.
I pray before his prayer, okay? I put one in first. Be like, God, my number, sin blocks blessings, so I didn't know what you've been doing. So I was like, let me pray first, because, yeah.
Brely. So I asked you what we should call this episode, and we said we're just gonna rock with it. We're gonna find out what we talk about, and then we'll come up with the title afterwards.
I think so.
Okay. So who is Brely Evans?
Who is Brely Evans? I mean, Brely Evans, she is a wow.
She's a wow.
She's a wow.
A walking on water.
Oh, you better.
Come on, somebody.
Come on,
you know
somebody.
I know you, but you say I know you.
She's a walking, she's a wow. I mean,
Yeah.
I am, I think I'm here, my purpose is to free people. Free them out of bondage of 9-to-5 jobs, to live out loud as a curvy girl, to be unapologetically myself, and that helps free other people. So I'm just here. I am the freer. Is that a word? Is that an adjective?
We can make it.
Well, there it is.
There it is.
Yeah, that's what I would call myself.
Where would people recognize you from? They may see you and be like, she looks so familiar. Who is this?
Who
woman?
is it? Y'all know y'all saw these hips on Ambitions
That was
on
my show.
OWN. Mine too.
That was my show.
Give me the network,
yeah.
Jesus. I'm bring it back.
Okay. Amen.
Miracles and manifestation.
Manifestation,
Okay,
yes.
that's so that Ambitions, family business. Cold and Windy.
Yep.
The Christmas movie, Can't Fight Christmas.
Yeah.
Being Mary Jane. For those of you who go back to the beginning of my
boy,
career.
I love that.
I have over 80 shows, so those are the ones that you guys probably know the most right there.
Man. And so you were telling me earlier today of how like you sat down and you and Tabitha Brown, y'all actually manifested this career that y'all both have.
So we met in acting class, and we were put in a scene together to work on a scene, and we were like, we family.
Yeah.
And so we used to have these Sunday family dinners, and we used to sit on the couch and talk about, one day we gonna be so busy we don't even see each other. Now we'd be like,
We don't see each other.
we don't see each other. So we knew that these days were coming, and here they are. Yeah. So
how do you feel? How does Brely feel right now in 2023 when you look at your life, your career, when you look at your love life? How do you feel?
When I look at my career, I'm so astonished and like, is this really me? Like, I'm really on TV. Like, I get up and do this I'm really an actress. Like, when I'm walking outside and someone says, Brely, I'm like, people
know who I
my
am.
name. So I'm still surprised every day. I'm still a fan of the craft.
Yeah.
I'm still in awe of this whole thing. It doesn't make any sense, to be honest. Love life. Lord, what we doing? Because I don't get. Now, I am the master manifester when it comes to being on TV.
Yeah.
I can help people. Like I said, I am my nonprofit organization is called From 9-to-5 to Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm helping people come on, get out of there, get out the boat on your hopes and your dreams. I'm about to preach you down and do all the things. But soon as love comes into the thing, I'll be like, I don't know what to tell you to do. So yeah, I feel I'm not as my strength is not as strong in the love department for some reason. I don't know.
When you say for some reason, when you reverse engineer this thing, what do you think is the main problem? Do you feel like is it one of those things you say men aren't showing up, as a lot of women always complain about, is men viable, candidates aren't stepping up to the table, or what?
Well, I can't say that any longer.
Yeah.
Because the candidates done got a little
better.
better.
Done changed a little bit in your life, huh?
Yeah, the candidates, I'm like, what? You're a who? You do what? Okay, God, I see you. So I really think that I've changed. So the Brely today, like, there's a new trajectory for me that's happening right now, live and in person. Y'all take a picture, because this is what I look like single, but it ain't gonna be for long. So get your cell phones out.
Talk about it.
Because like, a different energy is showing up, but I know it's because I've changed. Yeah.
So you know that.
I'm 100%.
Okay, so when we look back, you were married before, right?
I said yes to someone. I had said yes to someone.
Brandon, so you don't call that being married?
Well, I mean,
You said yes to them in what fashion?
I said yes when somebody asked me a question. I said yes.
What questions they asked you, Brely?
Well, they said, will you do a whole bunch of these things? And I said yes. So when I said yes, I meant what I said. But what I was supposed to get, on the other hand, I don't think I had one of those.
You said yes when they asked you, would you do a bunch of these things?
Yeah, they were like, will you have and hold and honor and do all those things? And I said yes. So the man I said yes to, there was a man that I had said yes to one time. And then about...
You said no to him? You said your yes turned to a no?
Well, it turned to an annulment, so I don't know. They said that don't count. Annulment doesn't count. That's what they said.
So how long was y'all married? Let's
a
go
year
back.
and a half.
So y'all married a year and a half.
Yeah.
So what made you marry? How'd you meet this individual?
We were introduced, and I think it's the best thing to be introduced.
I do too.
Right? My PR person at the time said, hey, I know someone. And I was like, how tall is he? Where he work. I was like, I just knew it was gonna be a bust. She was like, no, you're gonna be pleasantly surprised. He's amazing. She thought he didn't have any children, so I was like, okay, I'm big on some babies and all that. So she showed me a picture and I said, somebody lying. Cause he about as curly and cutie and fine and wine and tall and all the things I asked God for. And she said he told her, if this girl loves the Lord, I'm going to marry her. I could have got married that day. When
Really?
she told me, he said,
Yeah.
I was like, he loves the Lord?
Yeah.
Baby, I was like, bark like a dog. Woof, big dog.
Hop on one leg.
Baby, hop on one leg. What you want me to do? So that's what happened. We got introduced by my PR at the time. And she had raving reviews, and people around who knew him also gave some raving reviews of this guy. And so I was sold to the man in gold.
So he had a good,
He had a good reputation.
Yeah, reputation.
Yeah, most certainly did.
And how long y'all date?
Well, for a year. It was like a year, and then like I've heard, and I come from the school of be engaged or in love with or with someone as long as it takes to plan the wedding.
Yeah.
Because I can't lie. We was we trying to get married tomorrow. Okay, we got some things to do. So that's kind of
what things y'all have to do?
Baby, come on now, use your imagination.
Well, no. Were you plan on just waiting till marriage to have sex?
I really wanted to do that.
Okay.
That was the thing, and so we needed to get married, get down that on out. We need to get down that out pretty quickly. No, it wasn't really. I mean, it was that, but it was also.
She said it was that, but
I come from a 2-parent home. My mom and my dad are still together today. And I know always it hasn't been easy. And my father has expressed, we do this, we do this because of you, but this is our standard for you. So I have not had any children out of wedlock because it's my personal standard.
Right.
I've seen some of my family members struggle in that area and they didn't make it look pretty. So I wasn't running out to go do the same thing. And, although I may have had opportunity, I still was like, nah, dog.
yeah.
You see a burning house, you ain't running in it. I just couldn't. And then I just felt like it would be a slap in God's face to me that if I said, I'm going to do this and I'm going to need you to help me take care of it. I just couldn't, I just personally couldn't do it. So I really wanted to be married and do things God way. I'm the same girl who's gone to Catholic school, who then went to performing arts high school, who then went to college, who then graduated, who then, got her first record deal, who then left the record industry and then, was on every TV show. I have done things right and in order in my professional life.
Yeah.
But baby, this love life thing, where the classes at? Where they teaching these men and women how to date? Where they doing that? So, so that's kind of, what I'm saying? So that kind of tells you my background as to why I was like, we ain't about to be sitting around here engaged for 15, 11,
Yeah.
years.
Well, I agree. I agree with the same thing. I don't believe it takes a long time.
No.
And especially when you get to a certain age, you know what you desire, you know what you want. You've dated people, and you're just like, I'm through with all the nonsense. I'm not gonna be dating you for 2 years and then decide whether or not we're gonna get married, and then you start the whole cycle over again.
And can I tell you this? I knew that I wanted to marry him after one of our arguments.
That's good.
I was like, he doesn't make me want to get up and beat the hell out of him. Because I'm from Oakland. And she got, that thing. My daddy told me the bigger they are, the harder they fall. So I'm like, I'm hurt.
You ready to fight? You was ready to fight.
But we were doing a little thing, and I said, oh, my heart isn't racing. And I can think. I can say, when you're done, we can talk about it. Later on, I found out, people were like, that meant you had grown. That didn't mean he was the one. I was like, oh man, I wish somebody had told me that. No, I'm serious. It was because of that, because someone told me, before you marry, see a man in all seasons, right?
Yes.
Mad, happy, sad, excited. See all of it, right? And when I got
Both
to that
parties.
Anger part, and I didn't get up and square up on him, I was like, oh, he brings the feminine. You know what I'm saying? All my feminine wows are here.
That's good.
This is the one. So I just knew. And I really asked God, how about this? How about when you ask God, and I mean really ask God. We went to premarital counseling, and our pastor, it was his pastor, which was our pastor at the time, said, well, I need y'all to fast and pray, seriously. And so we did. And I was like, God, you got to show me. I'm one of them kids that need the brick.
Yeah.
You know them kids.
Yeah.
And so things were showing up. Can I just tell you this? It was time to, get birth certificates out and do all that stuff.
Yeah, get the license.
And child, I found out his name wasn't even his name.
Brely, what are you talking about?
His name that I called him was not the name on the paper. And I said, wait a minute. But the cool part about it, what gave me solace, was the name on the paper was so close to my father's name. It was like, my dad's first name is Carl. So it had Carl in the name. And then the middle name was the exact same, Frederick. And then the last name started with an E. So so I was like, and so I took a picture of it, sent it to my mom. And my mom said, what you doing with your daddy birth certificate? And I said, exactly. That's his birth certificate. My mom said, Lord Jesus. I said, yeah, his mom changed his name to what it is a couple of years later. So I felt like this is my guy, because I'm a daddy's girl. Y'all love y'all daddies. Where the daddy's girls at? I love my dad. So I was like, for y'all to have a name so simple, this is God's sign saying move forward. And although I do believe God told me to do this, I really fasted. I really prayed. I was really serious about this. And the lesson, God may tell us to do some things, but it don't mean it's going to turn out the way we think.
Facts.
Because I believe that experience is birthing some things that are bigger than me.
Yeah.
And so if I had to do it again, I don't want to, but I trust God so much that I believe he sent me on this path to, again, set some people free. And he knows he can trust me with a not so good feeling situation. He know I'm gonna keep a smile on my face. He know I'm gonna show up. He know I'm gonna be loud about it. And now is the time.
So you look back at that situation, and you feel like it was ordained by God.
I have to believe it. I literally asked. I did. Now, were there girlfriends saying, Actually, when the pastor gave us the thumbs up, because we did the 8-week thing, and we did all of that. The pastor said, okay, yes, we're moving forward with this. I got a call from pastor's wife. She said, he not ready, young lady. I know what my husband said, but he not ready. I was like, he the pastor. I went with my shepherd said. But hindsight is 20/20.
Did she just say that, or did she point out some key things?
Baby, she called me on the phone and said,
some things.
Young lady, she didn't point out anything.
See, I be needing people to tell me what it is.
But I think I knew. But I was committed to listening to the pastor. I know what I wanted. I really wanted to be married. And first of all, I had never dated a guy who had his own church home. Sorry, I just didn't attract those at the time, I guess. I don't know. All I know is when that brother said, oh, let's go to my church this Sunday. Huh?
You said you got church?
You mean but what? Honey, I pull out Sunday's best, baby. I was like, let go. We pull up to the church. We walk in. And the church is a small church. The pastor's already in the pulpit. We're a little late. And he goes, oh, he brought a girl to church. I'm looking like I'm on TV, man. The whole church looking back. I was like, Father God. So I never had that experience. Your pastor know your name.
Yeah.
Oh, you in here.
Yeah.
You don't just go to church.
Yeah.
But they know you.
Yeah.
Oh, I was smitten. I was like, this is good.
But that makes sense, though. I mean, all that makes sense that would be something that's co-signing the path to,
a path to yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so when the first lady said what she said, you just felt like, what?
I just felt like, I tried. I couldn't even consider it because I feel like her husband was the authority.
But you said, you saw some things too.
I mean, hindsight.
Oh, okay, but at the time when she said it, you
I let a lot of things go, and here's where I believe it's important for me to be on this couch. I believe it's important for me to remind, because I think we know a lot of these things. When you see a magenta flag, I know it ain't red. Oh, but baby, when it's magenta, when it's pink, when it's off-white, it's a no.
It's a no.
Because I saw some things, but I figured everyone needs an opportunity to grow.
Right.
You pick your battles. Nothing's perfect. I was saying all of those things. Nobody's perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Yeah.
I was saying all the things, but there are just some key points in life that you have to look at. You got to say, oh, he got on Gucci shoes. That means he'll buy me some. But when the shoes ain't quite Gucci and they, but I'm thinking, oh, he's frugal. Oh, that's so cool. Like, when the car, is from the 1900s.
You can't say that.
I mean, am I lying? When the car is from 1900s, I was like, oh, but he's kept it up. It's still running well, It's a good car.
Did you say 1900s?
But my thing is, ladies, when he has a nice car, he might buy you one. But when he doesn't, it's not going to happen. So it's like, it was just these little things that I just kept saying, well, I'm not a gold digger, so it doesn't matter. Like that, I don't care about material things. Oh, baby. God got me right together on the material things.
How?
Because, so we're always like, oh, I don't care about material things, right? So remember when Jesus was walking back and he saw the fig tree?
Yeah.
I liken my relationship, that man, to a fig tree.
Do you know that's exactly what I always tell people about my past marriage?
What?
I said that I felt like what made me decide to get a divorce is because I likened my marriage to the fig tree that wasn't bearing fruit in season. And I felt like it was a cursed fig tree. That's the reason why I had to get a divorce, so that I could bear the fruit of everything that I do now.
Up.
Yes.
Well, here's mine. I say that my fig tree was 6'2", curly hair, beautiful skin, great smile, charisma, spoke well, loved the Lord, knew how to praise and all of that. That's the fig tree. Now that fig tree looked good. But baby, when you got up on it, when you was walking towards that fig tree, there was no fruit. There was no fruit. What did he do to the fig tree?
Cursed it. And it withered.
Baby.
Yeah.
That's what I liken this to. And if you, my song, Don't Date Down.
Yeah.
I sing the lyric in there, like about if there's no fruit, like there's no fruit. And so that's what I liken to also material things.
Yeah.
Like the material things, it's not really about them. It's about, this is where I've been in life, and this is what I've been able to accomplish, over time. This is but when everything is not there, people like me was giving all kind of, it's okay. And I hope my father doesn't get me for this one. When it was over, my mom was like, your dad is in there kind of. I was like, what? Your dad in there crying. I was like, why? He said that if he didn't say yes, then you wouldn't have did it. And that is the truth. So my father feels like I gave you to the wrong one. Because if daddy had said, this ain't him, I would have been like, look here, buddy.
You that quick.
You
wouldn't have went against your daddy. You wouldn't.
I love him, daddy. I would not have done it.
Really?
I'm her.
That's good.
I'm her.
You trust your father.
I trust my daddy. Say jump into the pool when I couldn't swim. I'm jumping. Like that Carl F. Evans. baby, he got me. That's my first love. Okay, I know what a man's supposed to be. So
I love
Yeah,
that
he
his
gave
heart
me-
was sensitive enough to feel responsible
He
for
felt
the
responsible.
yes. Because as a father, I'm hashtag girl dad all day.
No.
And so when I gave my daughter away back in December of 2022, I had to evaluate old boy. I was like, no, we got to talk. Because at the end of the day, I take my word like seriously. If I'm
Yeah.
saying, when they say who gives this woman away, I have to be able to say, yes, I give my daughter to you, believing that you can cover her the way I covered her, believing that you can protect her the way that I protect her, believing that you can provide for her,
My Lord.
believing that you can provide security for her. All those things, I had to be able to see that in that young man.
Hey, wait, you said something there. You said you had to be able to see that.
See it.
But not that he could do it right on that day.
No.
Because my dad was giving him grace, saying, I know you can't do it on this day,
Yeah.
but I trust you to get it done.
Right.
So that was kind of where it kind of ended because, once that whole thing happened, it was like,
So what really made the bottom fall out your marriage? I know you haven't been very vocal about it.
not at all.
What made the bottom fall out?
I was verbally abused. And I became a verbal abuser.
Right.
Because, I didn't sit there and just listen.
Oakland gonna come out.
I said, what
eventually.
you say? Oh, baby. I went into the backpack for him. There were things like, you make enough for the two of us. Oh, I didn't know. I thought I married a working actress. On those times when times are lean for me. There was verbal abuse and people talk about domestic violence so much. And they're always talking about the black eye, the bruises.
Yeah.
They always got the pictures. But baby, the pictures of my heart, the pictures of what happened on the inside when somebody tell you, didn't nobody want you but me. When you hear the things, you overweight, you fat, when you hear the things and you already in a business that tries to guide you,
Yeah.
nobody understands what I was going through while I was Rondell Lancaster on the set of Ambitions. This is when it hit the bricks. I was getting up for work like, okay, like that's when it all just really fell apart when I got to Atlanta. But let me tell you about the goodness of God again. Like the marriage was failing. First week of marriage, and you tell me, maybe please.
Talk.
You talk to folks all the time. Maybe you got something for me. First week of marriage, we had to go out of town for something he had to do. My mom and I said, we'll meet you down there because you're going out of town. We'll make it a girls, whatever. So, let's meet for dinner after you finish your business. We get there. First week of marriage. He come to the restaurant without his ring on. We and my mother's like, please don't make a molehill. What they say, whatever that one is.
Make a mountain out of a molehill.
And I'm like, Mommy, I just got married last week and he doesn't have his ring on. And he's like, girl, I washed my hands, but I could not sit. I would not sit at the restaurant at the table until we left. My mother at the restaurant with the other people went back to the hotel because he was staying in the hotel and we were staying in another place. And go get your ring.
Now, why y'all in separate hotels?
Oh, because he was there on business.
Oh, okay.
And so Mom and I decided to make it a girls thing and do our thing somewhere else. So that's what happened was. So that was first week.
So how did you feel because of that? Because the ring wasn't on his finger.
I just felt like I felt not represented. I'm like, we're away from each other. He had already been there a few days. Mom and I came down and you walk in here just like, what's up? We back to that. So
and he said he washed his
like,
hands.
I washed my hands.
And just left it at the.
And I was like, well, let's go get it. Because I don't know, that it just meant so much to me.
Well, of course, because you waited for this moment all this time and you didn't get a chance. I mean, it's a week later that you had to be the symbolism of I'm single.
Life. Yeah. I waited. Man, that hurt. Just like little things.
So how did he handle the hurt? How did he handle?
Never
first of all,
well.
How did you respond?
Well, I was being a big brat. People that know that I can be a brat, I was like, I'm not sitting at this table till my husband has a ring on. So what does everyone want to do? You guys gonna sit there and order your food? I'll stand right here. I'm her. I am a little extra, but I know that there's a guy out there that knows how to
handle that extra.
Love the hell out of me.
Yeah.
If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he never really handled it that well. There's another thing that I say that I think people should be aware of when they're dating and searching for the one. Proposals without rings. It's a no-no. It's not about the material thing. Like people want, oh, Brely, you all about material. No, it says that he has intention for you, that he will save or whatever he has to do to present something to you. I'll never forget Tabitha Brown, my sister, said you will not walk down that aisle until he proposes properly. You will not. And I was like, oh, sis, we ain't no big deal. Da-da-da-da. So if y'all see the video of me getting proposed to, I thought a stripper was coming in there. They had Too Short playing and the blindfold on me. I was about to I was like this, and I said, this booty feel familiar. Wait a minute. And I was like, and they took the blindfold. It was him on his knee proposing with the ring and everything because he hadn't had it just yet, but he had it that day, and it was beautiful.
So he had proposed to you prior to that?
Yeah, well, you know what? I never really got a proposal. It was kind of like
we get married.
And I was like, okay. It wasn't really like, I think there's something to a man. See, a king humbling himself before a queen, that knee means something.
Oh, it means everything.
People like.
Oh, it means everything. I say it all the time.
So
it's something that happens in the spirit realm when a man actually, because we always hear about the woman submitting to a man, but the Bible says submit ye one to another. And that first submission from a man comes when he kneels down before you. Like, it's the most beautiful thing.
It's God. It's the man,
right,
then the woman. So he's taking that man and he's putting him beneath you to say, I vow to protect, provide, do all the things for you. So I never had gotten that. And I was like, whatever.
Ain't no big deal.
And then, to be 6 months into the marriage and then start getting phone calls and text messages about, hey, is he going to give me that money back? What do you mean? Oh, there were like 5 or 6 people that put in on this thing. Oh, okay. Well, he asked me which one I wanted. I just pointed. But, so it's like, so then you begin to realize the sacrifice was never made for you.
Ooh.
And so, in fact, what did I do? I gave myself away.
So you can use me.
So you can use me.
Literally.
I gave myself away, and I just refuse to do that again. I feel like I want to be with someone that earns me.
When you confronted him or brought it back and be like, why are these people calling? What is
because I could deduce that the brother didn't have what it took.
I know it, but
for
I'm
the
talking
ring
about
I picked out.
what did he say? Was you okay with that?
I was okay with it because I was thinking that's what a man should do. If you don't got no money, go ask your friends, your uncles. Yeah. That's over there. Don't come here. And I remember when we were dating. Something went wrong with his car. And he asked me to pay for it. And I said, oh, I don't do men and money. Oh, I was so proud of myself, y'all. Because I done bought cars. I done bought computers. I done started business. Because I'm a helper. Like, I am a giver. No, and my friends know, Christina Johnson, she's like, you're going to get this receiving right. You gonna get it right. Because I don't really know how to receive. If somebody do something for me, I'd be quick to what I'm gonna give them back.
That's how I am. That's bad. I'm trying to learn not to be like that.
I'm so like that. So
I don't know if that's a pride thing or what.
It's not good. And they say, what they say about the pride in the fall.
Yeah.
So he asked me and I said no. Like, no. I was so proud of myself. Like, I thought it was a moment. Like, the earth could shake right now because I said no. I couldn't believe I said no. So that the expectation that he had of me was like, well, I'm asking you. Not asking nobody. I'm asking you. And I've seen people sit on your couch right here and say, she had my back.
Yep.
When I needed this, she did this. And then I'm like, we were dating and I had already been through things with men and money and it just wasn't a good look for me, right?
Did you actually tell him that though?
I did. And then he would go on to say, I'm not him and I'm not da-da. But I just didn't even want to get into that. I never wanted that exchange to happen because that's what happened with the ones I'm not with. Because the exchange had happened, right? So this time I said, I'm going to stay away from paying for stuff like that for, my
But I'm talking about the exchange of articulating what it is. To be able to say, hey, listen, I really wish I could show up like this, but at this stage of my life, I want to do this because X, Y, Z, and I realize that I'm such and such and such when I do this. I
didn't speak that well. But I tried to explain why, and of course I use past tense relationships, which never is a good idea.
No, you did this for these other dudes, then why could you do that for me?
Because that was my last. I was on the last time it happened. That was my last time. I was like, you know what? I mean, I'm a giver, and I don't want to be used. I don't want you to be with me because of what I can, and I want to do things. So put it like this: when I had opportunities to share, I'm a giver,
right?
Because your first time on first class was with who? Your first time at the 5-star hotel with who?
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna always give I give so much that when we were dating, I had to go speak at the Dreamers Academy in Florida somewhere. Of course, first class everything, car pick you up, They gave us money to spend, and we were abstaining from sex. And so he was like, I said, we're going to be cool. It's going to be a suite so you could sleep, and then we could cuddle and do all that. But when it's time to go, he's like, what's going to help us out? Can my friend come? And I was like, okay. He asked if his guy friend could come, and I said, yeah. Yeah, that's what happened was. I hosted them for a whole week in Florida.
Did you say I hosted them?
Yeah. I made sure everybody ate. Everybody got a souvenir. Everybody have fun. We're going to get on these rides. Like, we had a good time. But my point is, I did give, and I was open, to sharing.
Why do you want his friend coming?
Because he thought that his friend should come because that's going to make sure we don't do nothing. Like, we ain't going to go too far because somebody will be there. And my naive self was like, okay.
That's different.
It's just the truth.
That's just different.
It's just
I wouldn't want my homeboy with me with my woman.
Now I know that. I didn't know that, but no one told me that. No, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think I would want my homeboy.
I mean, and I know one, the guy who I called, you have that one person that you dated, and that they're like the love of your life. He would call me from time, because we dated when I was younger, and he would still call to check in on me every time. You out here, these brothers ain't doing nothing for you. You giving age, you did. And I was like, no, not with this one. I was so happy. But he was always coaching me, going, what are you doing? I didn't even raise you like that. I treated you like a queen. I gave you everything. He was the first person to take me out the country and do all the things. And he was just shaking his head. Even today, I think he'd still be like, this girl here, my plum. He used to call me Plum. But he'd be like, oh, Lord, what are you doing out here? You just out here. I'm like, I know. But
so for that year, y'all dated for about a year and some months.
So no, it was about 10 months, because by the year we were getting married. We were getting married.
That's a good time frame.
I think it was a great time. I didn't feel like I needed any more time. Oh, every time you say something, I come to another point of what not to do. He can't move in, y'all.
Oh, he moved in with you?
He can't move in. I have lots of ideas. I'm a Sagittarius. I know people, deal in all that.
Yeah.
But we are big dreamers, and I got a plan for everything. And your man has to have the vision. I don't think we need to have the vision. I think he has to have the vision, and then we help him with the vision. But baby, I was like, so you could move in and get on your feet for the first 6 months, and then even if we have to move into an apartment, I was willing to come down from what I'm used to. I own a whole house, but I was like, I can, rent mine out. We can get an apartment. I had the whole thing set up, but that was me. That's why I know. By the time we had went through about 4, 6, 10 counselors, and ended up with the white coat. That's when I got my life together. That white coat, that clinical psychologist got us together, okay? We tried to counsel with friends. We tried, older couples. That older couple said, this is above our pay grade. we're going to introduce you to a doctor. And we were like, okay.
Y'all were married at this point.
Yes. And I mean, we could not get it together.
Y'all did premarital counseling?
Child.
And y'all had counselors all throughout your marriage?
All throughout them,
And it was 16 months. 16 month.
We had counselors and people, and because we was having to call people like in the midst of like.
That's good. He was open enough to actually go through counseling.
Yeah, that was.
Because a lot of people won't. A lot of men they will not submit to that.
Yeah, he was totally. I was happy that he would submit to it, although it didn't always. I think we were both pointing at the finger. You're wrong. You're wrong. So we wanted to go to prove our point.
Yeah, get somebody else on your side.
Get somebody on your side. And by the time we got to the clinical psychologist, she said, y'all both some fools. I was like, oh, no, I'm not like him. She said, oh, no, yes, baby, you are. And she was a black woman in her 70s and who loved the Lord but wore a white coat. We went to a hospital, y'all. This marriage is sick. We on the sick and the shut-in list. You hear me? Pray for us. I'm serious. Like, for real. And so we would sit there, and then so she decided she wanted to see us together and then see him separately and then me separately and together. And then so I would go to my session by myself, and she said, he didn't show up this week. What's going on? Oh, I forgot to tell y'all. About 3 sessions in, she said, oh, first of all, the guy I said yes to, we didn't have insurance.
You just won't say husband, huh?
I never had one of those. So we had no insurance. So we had to pay, right? We had to pay cash. So I was like, we going half on this. I don't care where you got to get yours from. That ain't my business. I brought my half. Where your half at? And so, and she could see us over in the corner. Like, 10, 20, where you need $5 more. She saw us over. We went to the next session. She said, God told me, y'all better stop. Y'all told me, she said, God told me to do this. Do you know that she gave, and I'm probably sure, I never said her name, so she's still covered. She said, God told me that I have to do this at no charge. And so we didn't have to come in there scraping.
That's good.
And no more. And so we begin to go, and then he stopped coming. And she would be like, where is it? I'm cutting out time on my calendar. He didn't show up. What's going on?
Yeah.
So I kept going. And y'all, the moment I kept going,
that's when you start getting that strength.
Woo,
you start
baby.
getting that strength and elevating, building that muscle.
So she began to pour into me in such a way that I wish that every young girl, before they go down the aisle, that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Because the way she showed me she was like, that 6'2" curly hair cutie pie that walked up in here, that's you. You know all them insecurities he got about you. You on TV, you kiss people. All that stuff he doing. That's you looking at you. And I was like, and she was like, that's you. Because what I learned is we are magnets. All I did was draw a like energy into me, And so we think the devil coming in red in the horns and the cloak and boo. No, I drew that into me. That's how broken I was. It had nothing to do with him. Like, people are like, oh, your song Don't Date Down. I'm like, it's really not about him. It's about me. Don't Date Down is about not dating down in your vibration, in your finances, yes, but not in how you see the world and what your future plans are, what your purpose is. You cannot get with somebody that has not worked those things out. We must show up both in 100%.
Yeah.
You can't show up, like I'm gonna get it done. I'm almost there.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that. We gotta let people get whole. Before you come try to say hi to me. Don't do it. So what I've learned is, and that's why I can tell you, the people who are now approaching me for dating, I'm like, let me look at your fruit. I see how other people respond to you. I see how you respond to people. I'm like, oh, okay, she's different because there's a different guy standing in front of me now. So I'm like, oh, it was me the whole time.
That's good.
It was me.
That's
so
good.
It was me, but I'm so happy that I know that, because guess what? If I was the Brely that I am today, I would have never met him. We would have never met because we vibrating on two totally.
There were some surprises that happened in your marriage, right? When you got married?
Oh, yeah.
What were some of those surprises that
Well,
arose?
like I said, the young lady who introduced us thought he didn't have any kids.
Right.
But when we met and got to talk and everything, he was like, I have a son. He's 20-something. I was like, oh, you got a 20-something? Okay, cool. So I married a guy with a 20-something-year-old kid. Mm-hmm. And then he was supposed to take us, like my parents took care of the wedding, so he's supposed to do the honeymoon. And he was like, wait, I know you want to go out the country. Yes, I do. He didn't have a passport at the time. No big deal. Oh, and your episode with the girl with the passport is a real thing. Ask these
Simone.
sons of the
Simone
Lord.
Red Wine.
Ask them. Wait, don't marry nobody that don't got no passport. Okay. So when I saw the episode, I was standing up in my living room because I was like, this is the truth. I married a whole man who didn't have a passport. So I figured he's my husband. I can open the mail.
Yeah.
So, I got the mail. Child support. But he's 23. I'm thinking, ain't y'all took care of that by now if the kid is this old? I said, wait a minute, let me do the math on that. Wait, this kid is 6. Who is he? Who it is? Who this is? Harpo?
I don't know this person.
I don't know this man. And so he was like, oh, that girl been blaming that kid on me. Come on, Jesus. I feel it. He said he gonna do something for that. So then there was the little boy. There was a little boy that, we had to, do all the things, go to court. And I want children so bad that I was like, you know what? God hasn't blessed my womb with you, because by that time we're married, right?
Yeah.
And it's because we already have children. So I didn't care that that was before me. I only knew the boy about a year, remember?
Yeah.
So I'm like, we have a son, a 6-year-old. Let's go get him. He was like, well, if you want to. And I was like, okay. And then my mother was like, do not force this man to be a father. And I was like, that don't sound right, mommy. She's like, you might be doing that kid more of a service to leave it like it is than you are. But I was like, nah, I don't know. Nah, that ain't what God would have. God, no. If you have your flesh and blood walking here on this earth, then
up.
So we did the thing. We met him, and he's beautiful, and his mother was kind, and they had a one night situation, and whatever didn't work out,
Yeah.
And so there's this beautiful child, and I was just so excited. Let's take him out for the week. Can he spend the night? I just wanted to get his room together. And then I got a DM on Instagram. Instagram. That, y'all. Thank you.
Instagram be instigating.
Instagram be instigating. That's good. Instagram. I got an inbox on Instagram that said, and there's a 12-year-old here in Hawaii. I said, what? Huh? So and again, I knew I was growing because the old me would have came for her, but the new me that I was starting to be at the time was like, this isn't about him right now. This is about that little boy.
Yeah.
So tell me how to get in touch with you so we can get this family where it needs to be. By then, I had gotten pregnant twice and had 2 miscarriages.
Wow.
And I was like, Lord, no, I'm doing it right. Like, I've done everything right. Now I got the husband and we got the house.
Yeah.
We're doing right. We're trying to do right by the kid now.
Yeah.
What's going on? And God was like, no. And no again. And so 2 times. 2 times.
I never knew that.
I know. Most people don't know that.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Because it adds some weight to this story of why. Because I kept saying, why are you so not only forgiving, but so considerate of another child and so considerate of, instead of getting mad and be like, well, if I ain't got no kids, I'm sure not about to take care of these kids and be involved. But you did the opposite to a great degree of saying, let's go do this. Even with your mom saying, no, don't do that. You like, no, this is what God will want. And so I salute you for actually, because when you're married, that's how you have to operate.
I don't know. That's just who I am. Like, I don't know. That I just have a heart. My heart is just so soft to kids like that. So I just was like,
Did you get to meet the 12-year-old?
No, never did. And she was like, get out of there because I'm about to drop the hammer and it's going to be on. Ladies, another point. This is another point. Know the laws where you live. So in California, there's laws that say this word hurt my feelings. Jesus Christ. My daddy didn't raise no breadwinner, okay? But when you make the heavier bag in the marriage, you are the breadwinner. And so the person that you marry now is likened to a lifestyle that you've provided.
Yep.
And the money you make is now called marital money.
Yeah.
And the house you own before he even came on the scene is now a marriage situation.
It's like community property.
It's community property because he lives there.
Yep.
I was like, the car you own with no note, baby, that's nothing but more money for him.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
because I didn't even know these things, I was just like, when it came down to it, and he filed in California, and I saw all the stuff plus alimony I had to pay. I said, me? I was like, we only been married a year and a half. I was like, I mean, I couldn't believe the paperwork.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe the paper. So me and my smart self, and actually I was, to be completely 100%, let me go back. I decided I wasn't going to get a lawyer and do all the things. I'm smart, honey. I've gone to college. My parents have paid for private school. I can go to a couple of, free law classes and I can do this thing. So I went down to the court and I got the paperwork, honey. I printed out what needed to be printed and I served him myself. Went there and said, you can sign right here. We can be done right now. He was like, I ain't doing this. And so when he wouldn't sign those papers, then he filed in California. So, and then he lawyered up. And then my friends were like, we know you think you smart.
Yeah, you better get your...
But what you not going to do is go against somebody with a whole law degree. And I was like, no, because the law say, my friends were like, ma'am, this is not the fight you want.
Sure ain't, boy.
You about to lose it all.
Yeah.
And so I reluctantly found a beautiful Black woman who said, I'm gonna help you. And Lord, I know she above my pay grade because she had done some of the best, best
settlements with
the best
divorces.
settlements, the biggest ones in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And here I come, like mine don't look like theirs, but he tried to take everything. And so, and then he would say things like, because. To rewind, I know I'm all over the place with the story. I hope you guys are keeping up.
They're keeping up.
We were in LA when I booked the show Ambitions, right? So Ambitions shot for 8 months. So here I am, a newlywed, saying, I gotta go to work for 8 months. He was like, we are newlyweds. I need to be with my wife. And I'm like, I hear you, but I need to go make this money.
Yeah.
Because you don't make none. So I gotta get this money. So please.
Why your voice gotta go into that?
Because, I still feel a little crunchy about how some of the things went down.
Yeah.
I wish I had the words and because remember when you and I were talking, you was like, well, you could have said that, but you could have said it like this.
Yes.
I didn't have that then.
Yeah.
Mind you, I was in the midst of verbal abuse. So, and that's not a reason because I was also a verbal abuser back.
Right.
I was not.
And the reason why I can tell you that now is because I've been in those same situations where I'll say stuff like, you start hitting me a certain way, I'm going to lash out verbally and I can cut you down with words like never before.
Oh, my
I can
Lord.
write these beautiful letters in this book, but that doggone thing can go another way when I feel hurt.
And
so what I've been asking God to mature me in the area of is that even when I feel afflicted, even if I feel disrespected, can I still offer a level of respect without trying to cut somebody? And that's still a process.
And it is still a process, but I find myself these days taking a minute, making another call to say, what do you think this person meant by this? Can I phone a friend? Phone a friend. Phone a friend. Can I, can I do a 50-50? And I've slowed myself down to start just giving people benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Like I choose peace now, I choose joy. I choose happiness. I choose love now.
And so you got the job at Ambition, y'all.
So I got the job at Ambitions, and I had to come out. And then he was like, I'm coming with you. And I was like, I'm paying a mortgage in California for you to stay at the house.
And Ambition was shooting in Atlanta?
Yes. So it was just a big old thing. And he ended up getting us a place, long story short, getting us a place in Atlanta. I moved in. We were there 3 weeks before he reminded me that place was in his name.
So which place? The place in Atlanta?
The apartment in Atlanta, the 2-bedroom apartment in Atlanta. He was like, one day I didn't say something he didn't like. This is when I'm exercising all the things from the clinical psychologist. She was like, every time you get in the ring, they don't know who the fool is. And I said, oh, wait, hold up. Wait, what you said? Every time you respond to something that he calls you that you are not, you are that thing. I'm like, what? So this particular day, I just decided not responding. I'm not responding.
That made people even angrier, though.
And he said, you ain't listening to me. I said, no, you said I was overweight, that you're going to get somebody 14 years younger, that you was going to. I said all the things you said. I'm listening.
Ooh.
But he was just going for me. And he said, you know what? Get out. Get out. And I was like, boy, I'm your wife. I went in there on that airbed that we had. We just moved in. And laid down. He stood over me and was like, get out or I'm calling the police. And I just was like, I'm on a new show on OWN. They don't do policemen.
No, sure don't.
They don't do that.
Yeah.
And so I figured, let me get dressed and just leave, give him some time. I'm thinking, because I would have never left.
Yeah.
I have parents that are in 45 years.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving you.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you have this moment.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over to my girlfriend's house and, woo-saw for 2-3 hours, and I'm coming back. I came back, and I'm looking like, my keys. I'm calling like.
He done changed it that quick?
Oh no, he took my keys off
ring?
my ring while I was getting dressed, and so I couldn't get in the house. I couldn't even get in. And so I'm like, you took my keys? He's like, yeah, I said you can't come back here. And so I'm thinking, okay, he's just mad. I called my friend. She's like, girl, come back. You always have a room here. It's all good. 1 day, 2 day, 3 day. Mind you, I don't have any clothes. I have pictures of myself in my trailer. Ooh, an actress. Y'all actresses can get this. I have pictures of myself in my trailer, and I only had those clothes that I put on. And I took a picture of myself day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. And I had to wash it, obviously.
Yeah.
And I would be calling him like, I'm wearing the same clothes to set. Pretty soon somebody's going to ask me what's going on. And he's like, don't she got to wash them? I did wash them. But I'm saying, can I come get some clothes? Nope. He went, you ain't bought none of my clothes. Can I come get? He was like, nope. And so then I lost the contact. And I said, I can't see now. I can't work. I can't see. I can't drive to work. You can come get a contact. You can come get some contacts in one outfit. And
wow, he was doing that? Woo!
But again, when we are not well, we will all do some ridiculous things. And my girlfriend can attest, because I took a girlfriend with me, and she put the whole thing. She had her phone in her top pocket, and I never knew the whole time she was recording the whole time. She said, just in case something pop off, I need something. So she was like, "Girl, you should get some clothes for the gym." I was like, "Oh yeah, I should." I'm trying to get some stuff, and then he started playing gospel music. It was crazy. It went crazy. And then I think he said or did something, and I was like, you know what? I'm done. Oh, he called my parents, and we were in Georgia. My parents live in California. I think it was about 9 a.m. So what was it in California?
3 hours back.
So it was 6 a.m. And you called my mom to say she over here trying to move out, but he forgot that she laying next to a king. And my mother said, y'all over there fighting and arguing again, because I could hear her. And then all I heard was Kim. Oh, for y'all that don't know, my first name is Kim Brely.
Yeah.
And so Brely, just go by that. But my dad was like, Kim, get all your stuff right now. It's done. I'm done. Put your hands on her. I will get, you don't want me to get on the plane. You better keep your hands to yourself. Get all your stuff. And I was in there, just me and my friend, just a packet. And then he was like, my mama didn't raise me like this. Y'all need some help. I was like, don't touch my friend was like, let him help. And so he was putting my stuff out on the curb. Her little car was so packed and some of my stuff was still on the curb. I was looking at her car. I was like, ooh, Uber. I called me an Uber XL.
Yeah.
And he saw that black. She said, you called some nigga to come up here to take, and it was a lady driving. I was like, dang, that was going to be a good scene. That was going to look like I really did something. But it was a lady driving this big old Suburban, packed the rest of my stuff. He was like, my wife's leaving me today, to the driver. And she was like, huh? And I'll never forget, like, driving away with all my stuff, like going to my girlfriend, Christina. Thank you, Christina.
Was
Johnson.
you hurt when you at that moment where you like, did you feel like a failure? Did you feel like it was still repairable?
Yes, I felt like it was still repairable.
Yeah.
I did. I totally did. Because I said, a week or two.
Yep.
Then I said, a month or two.
Yeah.
And then when it got to 5 months, I was like, I'm Brely. Oh, you can't cuss on this show.
Can't cuss on the show.
I'm Brely Evans.
Brely, mother effing Evans.
I mean, I had to remember who I was.
Yep.
I was like, 5 months of all of this, you know, all of this. Like, oh no.
See, I call that the prodigal son moment where it says, and then he came to himself. That's when you become reminded of who you are. And we all go through that moment. Hopefully some of us get there sooner than later. But you have those moments where you go, hold on, if you don't value me, I must have showed you that I was invaluable in some area.
Or that I don't value me.
And then I don't
value
value myself, and I'm going to sit here right here. No, hold on. And then you start saying exactly the language that you just said, which you be like, I am, and you'll start affirming yourself, which you're really big about affirmations.
Baby, what a segue. Because let me tell you something. I started saying my I ams.
The I ams right here.
I started saying the I ams. God said, let me tell you, God will tell you to use social media. Sometimes y'all see people on social media talking and doing things. Y'all be like, he need to get off social media. No.
Yeah.
God uses social media. I went on the social media and what I was doing in the mornings. So I was doing my I am. Somebody said, I want to read those things. And I said, no, I just save them from, whatever. They're like, no, we want to read them. One of the fans on the thing emailed me everything I had said in one of my, and she said, there's your book. You finish it up. That right there came out of it. And I'm like, God, I can't just do no I ams. This wasn't enough for a book. And then I heard ABCs. And I said, ABC, the ABCs of I ams. Okay, because guess why it's ABC? I don't care if you have a doctorate degree. Everybody started at the ABCs. So I said, that's not enough. Just 26 letters. That's not enough for a book, Lord. He said 5 words for every letter. And then I said, that's still not. He said, put a scripture to every I am in there. So people are not just saying affirmations. They are standing on the word. And so that's how the book was. So the book.
I am, for the Lord your God is the one who goes with you to fight for you against your enemies, to give you victory. Deuteronomy 20, verse 4.
Come on, victory.
I am victorious. Say it. I am victorious. Being victorious means even if you lose, you are victorious because you ran your race your way. You beat your own time. There is no competition.
Can I tell you something? It's amazing that you opened it to that page.
I just flipped it.
Can I tell you this? I tell people, don't read that book from front to back. Have your time with the Lord
and then let
him reveal something to you and look down, because that's how he works in that book. That is a Bible repurposed. That I understand how the Bible was inspired by man to write, because wasn't good in English.
Yeah.
That wasn't my thing. But this book has been birthed out of all the experience, and now I'm doing shows and having the event I just had when King speak.
Right.
Like all of these things would not have been born if I didn't have the experience with this, And then
marriage. In the book, you leave this area right here. And what is this area right here for?
It's so that they can get their holy download. You get that download and you say what God is saying to you in the moment so you can go back and remember. Sometimes you need to be in remembrance of yourself, of where you were in that moment.
I am, but he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses. Now, this is what I stand on right here. So that Christ's power may rest on me. 2 Corinthians 12, verse 9. Say it, I am motivated.
I am motivated.
There it is. Being motivated means you put an idea into action. Start now, even if you don't have all the resources. Your motivation is a magnet for success.
That's that thing good right there.
Oh, boy, when I tell you that right there, get me crunk.
That thing right there.
Yeah.
It's on Amazon, y'all. Go and get your book.
Go on Amazon.
Get
go
your tool.
It. Get your tool. Get your sword. And so when did you write this book?
So this was, it took me about, maybe 3 years after we were apart that I just was on a healing journey. I was just like, I want to be better. And then I began to hear, and then I was doing the I ams and everything, and that's how it came about. Like,
so what year did the annulment take place?
That was 18? Yeah, 18.
What's so interesting is that as you were afraid to lose,
this came out in 20.
In 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So as you were afraid to lose everything in this battle, whatever, annulment, tell people what an annulment does.
Well, annulment says that it never happened. And so what happened was he didn't show up for court. We had the court date and everything, and my attorney with his attorney didn't show up either. And so my attorney said, well, in all fairness, Judge, I need to go over the list that he's asking for, half the house, the car, what's in her account. And the judge said, well, Mr. didn't decide to come today, so apparently he wants nothing. But can I tell you guys this? What happened in me was I was doing everything that the attorney told me to do to keep my stuff. I got to a point where I said, this stuff ain't even mine.
You said you don't even care
I'm
no
a
more.
steward over it.
Yep.
This is God's stuff. As a matter of fact, if God is trying to get his son something through me, he can have it.
You went there with it.
I went there. I said, he can have it, whatever it is. So I went to court thinking today is the day. How he gonna get half of his house? I'm gonna have to sell it in order to give him half, because where I'm gonna get hundreds of thousands of dollars to give him. So I had surrendered my stuff. Like, you can have it. And then even my attorney, she was cold. She was like, you don't believe God could do this again and more? Triple for your trouble? I said, you know what? Give him all this. Give it to him. That the judge said, because he's not here, then he obviously doesn't want anything. And I didn't have to give a thing. So that's another lesson. Keep your hands open.
Woo!
Keep your hands open. And you know what? I'm sitting here. Can I tell you something?
Teach.
Y'all, I tripped that you had me on here and you didn't have a tissue box. But I said, am I not going to need the tissue box? I am healed from a thing, y'all.
There it is.
I don't need the tissue box when I talk about this.
Yeah.
It
was a moment at the very beginning. I thought you was about to cry when you was talking about something. I said, I didn't bring the tissue. And I said, it's over there in the corner.
And I noticed it wasn't there. I was like, oh, what I'm be looking like on here? But y'all, I never like to say healed ED, because I think healing is always happening. But certain areas, the
that
scab,
you get over it.
The scab is good, and you can flick the scab and the skin look good under there. That's where I'm at in this
queen.
part. Yeah.
Teach. What people may not know about an annulment, one of the things that you can do, one of the stipulations of getting an annulment is if you have kids that are undisclosed. And so if I get married to someone and never let them know about my children I have, that's one of the grounds of an annulment. So that's what's so interesting about even how this thing laid out. But man, when I tell you what's so dope about it is that you've been very private about this situation. And so I take it as an honor that you will trust me with this story, that you'll trust me with your vulnerability, that you'll trust this space.
Absolutely.
And what I love so much about how you've been journeying through this conversation is that you're pulling out your own gems and nuggets, saying, hey, women, take a listen. Hey, and that's what God has allowed us to become, are walking epistles. And as walking epistles, this is the book of Brely.
Come on.
There's nothing you could do to change your story. This is a story that God gifted you with.
Gifted.
And the Bible says that people will be overcome by the word of our testimony and by the blood of the Lamb. So this is your testimony.
That's it.
This is your testimony. It's a beautiful testimony, no matter how ugly it was,
May
no matter
have
how many
sound,
tears
and
that
nothing
you shed.
against him,
Yeah.
God bless him. Thank you for the experience wherever you are. We don't even know each other anymore. It's so crazy, but it's like, I'm grateful for the experience because, again, we wouldn't have books and shows and all these kind of things. But I think, be on your journey.
Yes.
Be on your journey.
Submit to the journey.
Submit to the journey. Just it's okay. We might get some bumps and bruises on the way, but I know there's a king for me. The desire is too strong.
Yeah.
So I'm confirmed, although I'm holding on like this, but I'm like, you better come on and get this. No, I'm just excited that I can do this whole show and not
break down.
I'm like, because I was looking for that tissue box like this.
Yeah, you was so nervous. I just started seeing. I've never seen you walk and move like that. I kept saying, "Can you sit down so I can test
I
the
got
light
on my
and camera?"
knees. I
kept
got
moving. I said, "Sit down on the couch." You were scared to sit down.
Well, I didn't want my wig pulled off, but no, but it's just like I've never talked about this with anyone, and thank you for having a safe space for me to do that. And I want to honor the experience that God gave me. I don't want to bash anyone.
Right.
I don't want to make somebody look bad. It is what it is. I had this experience that you allowed me to have of you, and guess what? I didn't give you the most rosy experience either, because I told y'all I was abused, but oh baby, I was getting mine in too. Yeah. So it's just, I'm just happy to be able to share so that somebody else can have a easier route. Right. You know what I'm saying? To say, well, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah, not ignoring the red flags.
Please don't.
Yeah.
The magenta flags, because they wasn't red. The pink ones, the magenta ones, the
off-white ones.
The off-white one, don't do that. Like when there's a stain on there, deal with it before you say yes, So
what's on the horizon for old Brely before, outside of her meeting her amazing husband that's going to cover her?
I can't wait to meet you,
and protect
dear
her
future husband.
And guide her.
Husbandy.
And
I guess that's
protect her and all that good stuff. Let me ask you this before even talking about any professional stuff. What do you look forward to the most? You've been married before, so what are you looking forward to the most in your next and final marriage?
I'm looking forward to supporting someone. I'm looking forward to giving. Like, I used to think that I was looking for what I was going to get. And now I'm so full of love, y'all, I'm bubbling over. Like, I just get, I can't wait to love on somebody. Baby, you want your back rubbed? Baby, you want a bath? You want me to make something for you? Like, I just want to love on somebody. Like, I really am looking forward to giving. I'm looking forward to just having a teammate. I'm looking forward to dreaming big with somebody and really, being purposeful in kingdom building with my guy. I'm looking forward to just, some of the couples that sit on this couch, I look at them and I'm like, yes.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, this is what I'm talking about. Even ones that went all the way to the brink and said, we ain't doing this. And now I look at them and I'm like, yeah.
Shout out to Tavia and Jules. Shout out to the Whitlows.
The Whitlows. Shout out. I love it. I'm looking forward to giving. I really, and I know that sounds so like, oh, that's all, but it's really big to me.
That is huge.
Because I really want my partner. I really want to do this life with someone. Like, if I'm like, nah, I'm cool. I could just date and, every now and again have somebody. I don't want that. Like, no, dating for me now, like, I collect data real quick. I collect data like, you say something sideways, I'll be like, check please. Like, like, I'm running through. We ain't even getting to the second date. Like, it's not happening. But I'm happy.
Your cutoff game is strong, huh?
I mean, sometimes you think it is too strong. And I said, well, if he meant for me, I guess God, you'll bring him back. But
well, I know one thing that I saw this video, praise the Lord, on your page.
Father God.
Yeah, that's what I said when I saw it. And you were over here gyrating.
Gyrating?
You was over here gyrating.
The lies you tell.
You was gyrating, shaking your behind at Carnival. I sent that to my homeboys, and I said, look at this. Look at this.
And what they say?
She fine in the mug. That's what they said. They said, good Lord, have mercy.
You know what?
They said she fine in the mug.
Do you know how many people sent that to me and said, Brely, this looks just like you? And I said, I wish y'all could go out the country so you can get
They didn't think that was you?
Sexualized.
They didn't think that was you?
Yes, everyone thinks it's me. And I'm like, it's not me.
Oh, that's not you?
I can't wait to tell you that. It's not me. I have a doppelganger, as they call it. It's not
That's
me.
not
Her
you.
body is shaped just like mine. And I put, like, everyone was sending that to my inbox. Lord, we can't believe you did this. Da, da, da. But I put it up too because I like women like us, we don't get to wear the thong bathing suit and go on the beach. When I do it, we shut the beach down. Let the little booties matter. But when little booty be on the beach, don't nobody care. Ain't nobody looking, don't nobody care. I want to wear my bathing suit too.
You want to wear a thong bathing suit?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
but
well,
they
go
won't
ahead.
let me.
Yes, they will.
You see, that's why I have to have a special type of husband. The one that's going to be like, my baby, Lord, she ain't body shy. You know what I'm saying? But it's going to be together now. It's going to look good now. It's smooth.
So you tell me that wasn't you this whole time I'm sitting up here?
I loved you.
You're so wrong.
I had so much fun with watching you text it to your friends. That was great. I said, I don't know. You ain't introduced me to none of them. Maybe now they want to meet somebody. I don't know. But yeah, but I would totally do that though. Like I want to be that free.
Yes.
You know, I want to be with someone who really allows Brely to be Brely. Like, child, that's my wife. You know,
I can't believe you been having me sit there for a whole week sitting up here talking about
Didn't you
that
enjoy
shit.
yourself? How many times you watch?
About 933 times. I was just trying
Giving
to
that
make
woman
sure.
all them views.
Yeah, it's on your page. I hope you get paid off the reels.
You got to be more careful.
I said,
No.
look at this, look at this, look at this.
No, I'm not that. I guess I'm not that free. Because I probably would do it, but it wouldn't be no footage. There would be no footage. Well,
It will be no evidence
on the
of it.
internet. It wouldn't be on the internet. The footage would be in the phone, but not on the internet. So, yeah, that's kind of
Oh, that is funny that you sat there and did that. That's hilarious.
Yes,
wow,
sir.
That's hilarious. Well, listen, Brely, I really enjoyed talking to you today. Make sure y'all, the Dear Future Wifey, man, the supporters, y'all really support our guests. Make sure y'all go out on Amazon, get this
Yay.
book, The ABCs of I Ams. Like I said, I read a couple of them. You gave me this book a couple of, what was it? When you used to go around
a
and
long
do those
time. I
dinners.
gave
Yeah,
you,
back in 2020.
Yeah, I gave you the book when it came out.
Yeah, and I was looking through it that day. Was at dinner where you had this group of people. Used to do those. What was it called
Masterminds.
Masterminds. Yeah, and so that was really really dope.
Mastermind conversations with, and I still do them when I go to different cities and I'm going to be there working on a project. I
Yeah.
might take a day out and I'll throw up a mastermind. I'll get online and say, okay, guys, you want to go to my website, BrelyEvans.com, schedule and come have dinner with me. And I
Yeah.
only do like 5 people.
Yeah.
So it can be very intimate and we can really I can get to know you. And I've made some amazing friends that way. And so that's,
That's cool. I used to do those. I call it breaking bread, and I'll go to a city and do that. And I need to do more of those while I'm
I
on
need to do
tour.
more of them too, but
Yeah.
COVID kind of shut me down. I was like, "How you doing?" Fist bump, But
I don't know
yeah,
you like that. You be all nervous. But listen, love you a lot.
I love you
I'm
too.
proud of you. I'm
Thank
touching
you.
agreeing with you on God connecting you with your purpose partner so that y'all can serve each other.
Amen.
I know I hear a lot about you wanting to serve, but I want that to be reciprocated for you, and you find a man that has a servant's heart that serves you. I want him to out-serve you. I want
Come
him
on.
to out-love you. I want him to out-honor you. I want him to go after God to get to you so that you can actually experience what it's like to truly be loved by a man of God. And so
now I need the tissue. Got to be.
got to be more careful.
I really want to know what that's like.
Yeah,
Boy.
I want that for you because I've been knowing you for a while, and you're just a very good-hearted person. Like you're just very genuine. You don't have any air about you. You just and that's the reason why the guy that you said yes to was able to penetrate your heart is because you are so open and vulnerable, and you desire love and you desire marriage. And I love the fact that you're in an industry that marriage, the success of marriage is very, is waning. You can't, you be married for 2 years in Hollywood. It's like, oh, you did great. That's a long lasting marriage.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you're surrounded in this industry, but you still have the pureness of heart because you saw this representation of your parents where you say, no, I've seen it work. And marriage isn't perfect, but it's worth it.
It's
and
worth
so
it.
I honor you in that. Hey, y'all give it up for my homie, Brely Evans, y'all.
Thank y'all.
Ladarian thrusted suddenly into Child Protective Services in 2015. My nephew, black, a boy. The likelihood of being adopted outside of kinship, slim to none. Armani, 16 years old, black, a boy. with 5 years in the foster care system before I even knew his name. The likelihood of ever being adopted, yep, you guessed it, slim to none. While Ladarian and Armani were trying to survive and barely thrive in an overpopulated and underfunded foster care system, I was living my own life, doing well professionally. Having been a single father with a daughter who at that point was doing well in college, it was my time to live my life, right? Wrong. I felt unsettled, tireless, agitated. There are just too many of our Black children stuck in ambiguity and in the limbo of the foster care system. In 2017, I legally adopted my nephew, Ladarian. Fast forward to 2019, I had no ties to this other young king, but I felt God instructed me to adopt him also, and I obeyed. Starting over with parenting should have been enough, right? Working with various foster care and adoption agencies to help bring awareness to the countless young Black kings in the foster care system should have decreased my agitation, right? Joining the board of directors of Advantage Adoption, an organization that helps find permanent adoptive homes for children in foster care, should have led to some type of resolve, right? No, not at all. None of it felt like I had done enough. I now realize that every one of those experiences was laying the fundamental foundation for my life's mission, Kingdom Royale. Kingdom Royale will be a luxury, state-of-the-art home for foster boys. Our first location will be in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We will utilize the whole person approach that instills identity, empowers them to advocate for themselves, and enlightens them regarding new perspectives and limitless options that they thought were impossible. Though the young kings will attend the local public schools that are in proximity to Kingdom Royale, our at-home curriculum will broaden their worldview through participating in the arts, attending various cultural events, learning about and engaging in multifaceted discussions about current events and even relevant historical context, introducing them to gardening and landscaping and even caring for our animals on our farm and on-site stables. We just launched our Startup Capital campaign with the goal of raising $2.8 million. Now, why $2.8 million? Well, in 2017, I created a web series in which I performed random acts of kindness for targeting the homeless community. One of the most notable successes was that one of the videos went viral, garnering 28 million views. However, one of my biggest regrets is that I didn't raise a single dollar to help in implementing a more sustainable plan for the homeless community. So throughout the years, with much remorse, I reflected on not maximizing that moment. I knew if at that time, just 10% of the viewers donated $1, we would have raised at least $2.8 million that could have really established long-term support for the homeless community, or at least started a long-term initiative to do so. This is my do-over. This is our new beginning. Together, we can attack this at the root by specifically helping our homeless Black boys who are already disproportionately represented in the American foster care system. I'm Laterras R. Whitfield. I've been nominated for 3 regional Emmys documenting my work with the homeless as well as my personal adoption journey. Despite those accolades, the greatest award for me is truly providing the infrastructure for a transformed life. Visit kingdomroyale.com for more details. Crown a king and make a donation today. Man, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Listen, this has been an amazing week. Last week, I signed to Jan Miller as my literary agent, so now it's time to work on that book. I thank God for that. That's something I've been praying and asking God for a long time. So I hope y'all saw the video that I dropped the other day on my YouTube channel. Yes, on March the 25th, we will be in Atlanta at New Birth Church. Make sure you pull up. We're going to have an amazing time. We've assembled a dynamic group of panelists. Men, if you are watching this or listening to it, please come. I don't want it to be a room full of women. I want men there. I want that good energy from both sexes to be present in the building. So please pull up. It's free. You have no excuse. It's going to be a room full of amazing, beautiful, successful women, and it's free. You have no excuse. So come out. My birthday is coming up March the 29th. So this podcast is perfectly timed because it's my birthday weekend. And yeah, a lot of y'all been DMing me, asking me, what can you get me for my birthday? I've always shied away from that over the last couple of years while doing the podcast. Normally just told people to donate to Kingdom Royale, which they did. And people were like, well, I want to get you something. So I went and got a P.O. box. Yeah, I went and got a P.O. box yesterday. And if you want to send something, send it to Dear Future Wifey, P.O. Box 3937, Cedar Hill, Texas, 75106. That's Dear Future Wifey, P.O. Box 3937, Cedar Hill, Texas, 75106. Well, here's my favorite part of the podcast where I speak to my future wifey. Dear Future Wifey, these letters are getting harder and harder to write. Oftentimes, I sit at my computer for hours contemplating what to write and welcome the distractions that break the intense thoughts of your absence. I wish you were here. Success is bittersweet when you don't have that special someone to share those moments with. Seeing you sitting on the couch, talking on the phone when I come home, then hurriedly stating, girl, my man is home. Talk to you later, is what I live for. To be prioritized, to be celebrated and not just tolerated. Reciprocity. There's a quote by Orson Welles that states, we're born alone, we live alone, we die alone. There's a quote by Orson Welles that states, we're born alone, we live alone, we die alone. Only through our love and friendships can we create the illusion for the moment that we're not alone. Looking forward to the moment we create that illusion with each other. Your future hubby.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Dear Future Wifey Podcast. Remember, be lit, live intentionally and transparently, and don't stop loving.
Make sure to subscribe to our Dear Future Wifey YouTube channel. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. We welcome your support. Simply share our podcast with your friends and family.